No map showed it. No satellite image captured it. Yet for more than 100 years, travelers crossing the Black Dunes told the same impossible story. In the middle of the endless desert stood an ancient lighthouse. There was only one problem. There had never been a sea there. The nearest coastline was over 600 miles away. Still, every night at exactly 1:13 a.m., the lighthouse awakened. Its powerful beams swept slowly across the sand for exactly 7 minutes. Then it disappeared into darkness. The local villagers followed one rule that had been passed down for generations. If the lighthouse shines on you, don't wave back. No one explained why. No one dared ask. Travel photographer Ethan Brooks had spent years searching for forgotten places and impossible legends. When he heard about the lighthouse, he dismissed it as another desert myth, until an old man handed him a faded photograph. The picture showed the lighthouse standing beneath a sky full of stars. On the back, someone had written, "It only appears to those who are already lost." That night, Ethan drove deep into the Black Dunes. At 1:12 a.m., the desert was silent. No wind, no animals, only endless sand beneath the moonlight. Then the ground trembled. A brilliant white light pierced the darkness. Slowly, the lighthouse appeared where seconds earlier there had been nothing. It stood alone on a small hill, its lantern already turning. Ethan raised his camera. The screen filled with static. When the image returned, the lighthouse looked older than before. Its stone walls were cracked. Its windows glowed with warm golden light. As Ethan climbed the hill, he noticed something strange. There were footprints in the sand. They led toward the lighthouse, but none led away. The massive wooden door stood slightly open. Inside, the air smelled of salt water. Impossible. The sea was hundreds of miles away. A spiral staircase disappeared into the darkness above. At the bottom of the stairs sat an old wooden sign. It read, "Welcome, Keeper." Ethan frowned. "I'm not the keeper." A calm voice echoed from the top of the staircase. "You were always meant to be." The lantern above suddenly flared brighter. Its beams swept across the room and stopped directly on Ethan. Ethan couldn't move. The beam of light rested on him for only a second. Then it drifted away, disappearing into the endless desert. He remembered the old man's warning. If the lighthouse shines on you, don't wave back. His hands remained at his sides. For several moments, nothing happened. The silence was absolute. Then, a voice echoed across the sand. "Thank you." It wasn't loud. It wasn't close. Yet it sounded as if someone had whispered directly into his ear. Ethan spun around. The desert was empty. His flashlight swept across the dunes. Nothing. No footprints except his own. He turned back toward the lighthouse. The front door, which had been sealed shut only minutes earlier, now stood wide open. Warm golden light spilled onto the sand. Against every instinct, Ethan stepped inside. The air smelled of salt water. Impossible. Hundreds of miles separated the desert from the nearest ocean. The circular room was spotless. Ancient maps covered the walls. Old clocks ticked softly, each showing a different time. At the center stood a massive brass compass. Its needle didn't point north. It pointed upward. A narrow staircase spiraled toward the lantern room. As Ethan climbed, he noticed faded photographs hanging along the walls. Every picture showed someone standing beside the lighthouse. Travelers, explorers, soldiers, families. Each photograph was dated decades apart. Yet one detail never changed. In every picture, the same lighthouse keeper stood smiling in the background. He never looked older. He never changed. At the top of the stairs, Ethan found the lantern turning slowly by itself. No fuel, no electricity, only a brilliant white light. Beside it stood an old logbook. The final page had today's date. Only one line was written. "The next keeper has arrived." Ethan frowned. "I'm not staying here." A calm voice answered from behind him. "You said the same thing the first time." His heart stopped. Standing in the doorway was the lighthouse keeper. His weathered coat moved gently in a wind Ethan couldn't feel. "You've been here before," the old man said. "No," Ethan replied. "I've never even seen this place." The keeper smiled sadly. "That's what every keeper says after they forget." Before Ethan could answer, the lighthouse beam swept across the room again. This time, it illuminated a dusty mirror leaning against the wall. Ethan looked into it. His reflection wasn't wearing his hiking clothes. It wore the lighthouse keeper's long coat, and in its hand, it held the lantern. The reflection slowly smiled. Ethan didn't. Then it quietly whispered, "Welcome back." Ethan stumbled away from the mirror. His reflection didn't follow. Instead, it remained standing beside the lantern, watching him with a calm smile. The lighthouse keeper stepped closer. "You've seen the truth now." Ethan shook his head. "What is this place?" The old man rested his hand on the ancient lantern. "This lighthouse doesn't guide ships. It guides the lost. The ones who wander between yesterday and tomorrow." Ethan looked out through the lantern room. The desert had vanished. Beyond the windows stretched a vast, black ocean beneath a sky filled with unfamiliar stars. Dozens of ghostly ships drifted silently across the water, each searching for the lighthouse's beam. The keeper opened the old logbook. Every page contained a different name: travelers, explorers, people who had disappeared without a trace. Ethan found his own name on the final page. Next to it was a date. Tomorrow's date. "No," he whispered. "I'm leaving." He ran down the spiral staircase and reached the front door. He pulled with all his strength. It wouldn't open. The lighthouse began to shake. The lantern above spun faster and faster, sending its brilliant light across the dark sea. Then the old keeper quietly spoke. "My watch is over." He removed his weathered coat and placed it in Ethan's hands. The moment Ethan touched it, memories flooded his mind. He remembered standing in this very lighthouse. Years, decades, perhaps centuries ago. He remembered lighting the lantern, watching lost souls cross the sea, waiting for the day someone would finally replace him. The old keeper smiled. "Now you remember." His body slowly faded into countless glowing lights that drifted into the night sky. The storm outside disappeared. The black ocean became calm. Ethan stood alone. He slowly put on the old coat. The lantern stopped spinning. Its beams swept across the endless water once more. Far away, another lonely traveler appeared in the desert, walking toward the lighthouse. Drawn by the light. The following morning, local villagers passed the empty dunes as they had for generations. The lighthouse was gone. Only sand stretched to the horizon. One child looked into the distance and asked, "Does the lighthouse really exist?" An old man,